in Hebrew for the word wisdom. And also for the word keep, which is Shabbat. Because Yah will Shabbat day. We're going to spell it out. That's on top of whatever Corey got. You know what I'm saying? But this has just been in my head. It's been in my head for about 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? For at least the word wisdom anyway. Going to spell them out. And of course, we're going to take the characters. We're going to see which characters are a part of that word. And then we're going to see how that interrelates. And we're going to try to get an understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because, the word wisdom, it's got a real specific meaning. You know what I'm saying? The word shamar has a real specific meaning. It's going to tie in a little bit to what we're going to talk about tonight. Not that greatly, but a little bit. Hello? What's going on, man? So, for those of y'all, that's what I want you to try to do. Is try to find out the Hebrew word for wisdom. You know what I'm saying? The Hebrew word for keep, which is shamar. I'm going to tell you the word for that one now, so you ain't got to work that hard. But then see if you can try to spell them. Remember, when you try to spell them, you want to spell it right to left. You know what I'm saying? And then, you might have a good general base idea of what the word means, the actual word, you know what I'm saying? And then the characters before you even get there. And then we can see if your mind might generate where you think my mind would go when we actually do it. So, whenever you're ready, little muffin, I know I will hold you up. I know you're doing something. Oh, it's already going? Okay. So we'll give praise, glory, and honor to the Most High Yahweh, Yahushua HaMashiach, and look at the 5th chapter of Yuchanan, or John. And that's the 39th verse. Y'all already know what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'll do that every week, because Corey's going to have a sentence every week. But y'all will, if a word comes in my head, you know what I'm saying? I might mention it to some of y'all throughout. Like I say, I mentioned it to Pale earlier, and I had mentioned it to T earlier. But, might look at a particular word and delve into that word, but really put it in my mind to do it is when we looked at light last week and the things that came out of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the inspiration comes from. Sit down, Pop. And it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I want you to come over here to Mashlik, or what we would commonly refer to in English in Proverbs, the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse. I might not go into this particular topic in great detail, but this will come up to a certain extent with the word shamar, meaning keep. You know what I'm saying? And you keep the Most High word. I know Pale put something up there earlier this afternoon, or morning, whatever the time of the day it was, the day that done passed. And that was what I was talking to y'all about last week. When I picked up that book, when I picked up the scriptures and said, you need to go from having this to being outside of you to be internalized in you and be a part of you. Because once it's a part of you, then it will no longer be your will being done. It will be the will of your Abba and Shamahim being done. You know what I'm saying? You're going to move. It's no different than a software being uploaded into a computer. This is what causes the computer to move. The computer doesn't have to think. The software instantaneously moves it to do exactly what it has to do. You know what I'm saying? And you have to move to the point where the word is internalized in you, that you automatically move how you're supposed to, that you will automatically discern situations righteously. You will automatically discern situations where and true judgment. You will automatically discern situations by the Ruach and not the flesh. You will automatically move by situations not by your own desire, but what would please your Father. You would never seek your own will. 3rd chapter of Proverbs and the 1st verse. He say, my son, forget not my Torah, but let thine heart keep my commandments. So that go to first one. You know what I'm saying? It means to, well, I'm going to go through it in English a little bit, because I would be remiss if I didn't do so. You know what I'm saying? We'll still spell it out. I ain't got no middle button on your phone. So I have to work the phone a little different. Because I already got this thing stacked in here, but I ain't really sat back and went over it yet like I was intending to do so. Because I was going to wait for this in my mind to do it now. So that's what we'll do. So the word shamar is going to tell us to keep, to have charge of, to keep, to guard, to keep, to watch, to protect, and save life. You understand what I'm telling you? To watch, to wait, to observe, to keep, to retain, to treasure up in memory, to keep within bounds, to restrain. So that means keep you back. You know what I'm saying? And it also say to observe, to celebrate the Sabbath and things of that nature. So this is what I want you to sit back. Then it says to keep, to pay heed, to keep oneself, refrain, and abstain. So when he tells you, forget not my Torah, but let thy heart shamar my commandment, let's look at 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 1. And let's look at one of the first things it's talking about with restraining. So when you hear the word, when you read the word keep in a certain situation, when he tell you to keep his commandment, then from this point forward, you should see shamar in your head. And then y'all will Shabbat day, then we'll look at how the word is spelled. And then we'll see the characters that come out of that. And y'all we'll look at the numerical value. Because I know Core done sat back and he trying to get the Hebrew math book. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll look at the numerical value and then see what understanding we can get out of the numerical value. You know what I'm saying? So you can get a full, real, live understanding of what it would mean to keep his commandments. You know what I'm saying? Because you sitting there looking at keep, you don't take keep as meaning I'm restraining. You look like, unless somebody put keep yourself. They put yourself in front of that, keep yourself out of trouble. Then you would look at it that way. Versus you looking at that Hebrew word that means shamar. This means telling you need to refrain yourself. Also get you Matthew chapter 5, if I'm not mistaken. Actually Matthew chapter 6 and about verse 12 is coming to my head along with this 1 Peter 4 and 1. He say, for as much then as the Mashiach have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. He that suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin. So he that, because shamar means to abstain. If you done suffered in the flesh, you are abstaining from transgression, which means in all actuality, just like Mashiach said, he's did not my will be done, but thy will be done. That's why Psalms of Telahim 40 and about verse 8 says this. Thy Torah was in my heart to do thy will, O my Elohim. It's in my heart to do what you want. You know, some of y'all have heard me say that, especially with a situation with a young woman I had with, shoot, man, the time to move so fast, I just even realized like, it's coming up on like 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Since I really dealt with one. In fact, like it's been like 4 years since the last time I seen this nigga. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is I didn't necessarily care to deal with the woman, but if that's what he wanted me to do, I was more willing to do that versus what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way. I guarantee you that that Jeremiah ain't had no desire to walk around here butt naked. You know what I'm talking about? But if that's what he wanted him to do, that's what he was willing to do. That's the mind that we all got to have. Whatever this man is wanting us to do, we would be more than willing to do it. Because for whatever cause, whatever reason, it's going to be to his esteem. We don't look at things like that because we've been trained to have a mind that the Most High is supposed to give you what you want first and then you do what he want later. You know what I'm saying? He says that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. Remember he say, my son, forget not my Torah, keep my, or shamar my instructions. Which means you're going to abstain. Go to Telahim 119 before I read Matthew 6. It's something to Telahim 119. Let me see which one it is. The verse came to my head, what's written in it. There's 119 of them. So I'm going to have to sit back and try to remember. You know, the only time any of y'all ever done really even heard anything about abstinence is when they talking about not having sex. You know what I'm saying? And then you know in this land, they clown people for refraining from that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, give me a second to get that Psalms 119. Go to 1 Thessalonians 5 and 16. Because that just hit my head just now. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 16. See, when you keep this man Torah, it's something that you're going to do. Now, he said all these things. When you go on Shamar, this is what you're going to do. You're going to keep, you're going to protect, you're going to preserve, you're going to abstain. Right? So listen what he tell you. Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing. Now I'm going to ask y'all a question. How many of y'all pray on a regular basis? You know what I'm saying? On a regular basis. You know, Mashiach told you that men are always to pray and not to faint. You know what I'm saying? You know, we were talking about that last week, that he said if his word abide in you, and you abide in him, that you can ask what you will if it's according to his will, and it will be done unto you. You know what I'm saying? And then you know the other thing we were talking about, that a lot of times the man don't do stuff for you because you seek to consume it on your lust. You know what I'm talking about? So he's not going to give you something that's for the pleasures of your flesh. You know what I'm talking about? Now, there's certain things that can be pleasing to your flesh, like, as far as material things or certain goals you might want to attain, which he know those are natural things that he wouldn't refrain from you. But then it's restrained from you, my partner. But then there's certain things that he won't give to you because he know your whole desire for it is to consume it upon a fleshly lust. And he going to hold that back. You know what I'm saying? And he going to do one or two things. You're going to either try to go after it, and he going to let you have it to your own destruction, or he's going to destroy that to save you from yourself. There's very few instances in the word where he done that to save somebody from themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because you know y'all ain't going to be breaking his neck to save you from yourself. He ain't going to do nothing but warn you a couple times to leave something alone. And then you keep on going, and that's on you. You know what I'm saying? You bringing that on yourself. He's saying everything give thanks, for this is the will of Elohim and Yahushua HaMashiach concerning you. So if to keep his Torah, this man told you to give thanks to him in the law, didn't he?
That's enough.
Ain't that what he told you? Who know? You know, off the top of your head, Pell, we can look at where he tell you to give thanks to him for the things he done did. We could go right and look in Dabrim 26. We could even look in Exodus chapter 12, when our ancestors, when he gave them the Passover ordinance, and he say, what mean you by this memorial? And then you tell them that, obviously, if you tell them this is the day that he did this, and he did this, and he did this, then you would give thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know he delivered us from bondage. He delivered us from Misraim, from the fiery furnace, so to speak, from the yoke of bondage. You'll give thanks. You know how many times we read in the Torah where he reminds us that he did this for you? I redeemed you from the house of bondmen. I redeemed you from the house of bondmen, for you to give thanks to your Elohim continually. So we can see where Paul make this statement, and everything give thanks. If it's the will of Elohim, that means that's his Torah. That's his instruction. That's what you ought to do. Even when things are good, even when things are bad, give thanks to Yah. He say, quench not the Ruach. Now hold on. Now what y'all think that could mean by quench not the Ruach? What does it mean not to quench something? If you need something to be quenched, you're trying to put out a fire, right? Now hold on, y'all. Hold this right here. We'll get to jump Matthew 6. Look at Songs of Solomon chapter 8. We talked about this Songs of Solomon chapter 8 a few weeks back. We talked about it again. Just in a different fashion. 8 and 7. He said, don't quench that ruach now. He said, don't put that fire out. Sun just come in my head with that right there too. Get you Deuteronomy chapter 4 and about verse 32. Go right along with this Songs of Solomon. Dabrim chapter 4 and about verse 32. Make it 29 though. 29 come to my head for some reason. We'll see what it is. He said, many waters cannot quench love. Neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all the substance of his house for love, it would be utterly content. Now I'm going to ask y'all this here for memory's sake. Who are these many waters? Who remembers who these many waters are? The people. You got to remember now. You got to remember that when the Mashiach died, it wasn't nobody involved but the Romans and Yasharah. So before we even get to Dabrim 4 and 29, look at Daniel chapter 9. Y'all just bear with me. We still holding 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and Proverbs chapter 3. But look at Daniel chapter 9 about verse 25. I want to say. And then Luke 9, 15 and 13. John 15 and 13. And then I think 1 Thessalonians 2 and 12 coming to my head too. But we'll just see something. Daniel 9 and 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon the Kadesh city to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sin, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most Kadesh. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Mashiach, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the Prince that shall come destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. Remember me say that? Many floods. Many waters, they say, many waters can't quench love, neither can the floods drown it, right? This man just sat back and told you, before all the people, they say the people of the prince. So when we look at the people of the prince, this is the people of Mashiach. We say they gonna come and destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood until the end of the war. Desolations are determined.
Come on, Lee.
So he say a flood gonna come in and destroy this. A flood. Now we know we're not even gonna read John 15 and 13. Y'all know what it say. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friend. We know Elohim so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that through him we might not perish but have everlasting life. What we're looking at is the love that this man had, because the floods is determined as the people. We know when they came to get him, there was a great multitude. And all those people could not quench the love that the man had. Because remember he say, quench not the Ruach. Don't put that fire out. That water was coming to try to put that. Let's look at Matthew 26. That water was coming to try to put that fire out. See, what we're looking at is this here is like what the Apostle Shaul, the Apostle Paul stated in Romans, the 8th chapter. Whether it be death or tribulation or persecution or necessities, nothing will separate us from the love of Mashiach. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to let some people come in talking trash or persecuting you to stop you from because remember he say Shema means to keep a treasure, right? Yes, so we're going to look at that in Matthew. You're going to let somebody come, you're going to relinquish your treasure? Because some people coming? Because there's no manner of person on the earth that should quench that love you have for this man. You know what I'm saying? See, them people coming for him did not quench the fact that I'm going to keep my father's Torah. I'm not going to forget it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to walk in that. To the end. And ain't nothing going to quench that. Because y'all know what it's like to be thirsty. You know what I'm talking about? And then you like this here, everybody hit this here when you're real thirsty. You do it one way or another. You did it today, didn't you? You did it today. You didn't do it today. You wasn't that thirsty today, was it? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't do it today neither. But sometimes, boy, especially if it's some cold water and you really, really parched, and you pause with it too and you look at the bottom. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know why people do that there. You've been hit and then you pause and then look at the bottom like, that's some high quality H2O right there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it though. But that's what he was saying. That's why Mashiach was sitting back. That's why we're going to sit back and look at it. Because what did he say when he was on the tree? I thirst. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to quench that. But ain't no quenching that. You can't quench that love. That's the same love we got to have. 26. About, what I did? 51. Make it 47. He said, while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now that he betrayed them, gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, the same as he. Hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahusha and said, Hail, master, and kissed him. Yahusha said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahusha and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Yahusha stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yahusha unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Think thou that I cannot pray to my Abba that he shall presently give me more than 12 legion of Malachim? He say, But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled that it thus must be? See, Pal, I'm finna work that in what we were talking about. You didn't even see that. I'm work that in. He say, in that same hour, Yahusha said to the multitudes, Are you come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and you laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. See, when you look at the disciples, that flood caused their love to be quenched. Because they hid. You know what I'm talking about? Now you turn around and look at destroy the city. We know Mashiach is Jerusalem. We know he the sanctuary. We know he all of these things. And you know what he said? He said, y'all come after me as with a thief. They came for war. The same way with the word say, he say outwardly you bless with your mouth, but inwardly you are for war. You know what I'm saying? Like Judas was walking with him like it was all good, but he was for war. And he brought floods with him to try to quench the man's love. Because you got to remember, this man was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. He was troubled, he was worried. But what did he say? Not my will be done, but thy will be done. You know why he said that? My son, forget not my Torah, my law, my instructions. Keep my commandments. You know how we know this? Because we could go back and we could look at Exodus or Shemot 17 with Moses holding his hands up, with Amalek fighting. We could turn around and we could see that with the brass serpent on the pole. He got to remember, he had to die. You know what I'm saying? We sit back and look at the scapegoat, the sin offerings, the burnt offerings, the Passover lamb. You got to remember, he remembering the Torah, he the Passover lamb. I got to fulfill this because I keep his commandments, I guard them. So therefore my flesh is saying I don't want to die, but I will abstain from that. I will refrain from that. Why? Because he remembered the instructions. So that means that we'd have to turn around and look at it in that same fashion, that when we going through something and it seems like we're in a perilous state, to remember the man instructions, to fall back on that. How can we fall back on that? Because just like we mentioned with Talahim 40 and 8, Psalm 40 and 8, O my Elohim, thy Torah is within my heart to do thy will. I did not forget your instructions. You know what I'm saying? That's what messed us up. That's one of the reasons. See, let me tell you something. That's one of the reasons why people's faith don't always be there. Because it's not just about the law itself. It's forgetting who gave it to you and why he gave it to you and what he was leading you to. Like what we were talking about last week about going, which we didn't even get loose like I wanted to get loose, about having tribulation to enter into the kingdom of Shammahim. Because Hamashiach remembered the Torah, he knew that he was going to have to go through it to enter in to get that land because they did. The same way we looked at last Shabbat day, looking at Caleb, the dog who was the son of he who faces me. He was able to get the land because he walked it. And his seed was able to get it because he walked it. And then you look at Hamashiach and we see him walking. So he was able to get it, and those are born of him because he walked it. And we know we done looked in Yahushua chapter 9 or 10 if I'm not mistaken and see what other people walked it. Just like we seen Abraham walked it. You know what I'm talking about? So then that means that just like he said, if you abide in me and I in you, he said I will walk in them. Hold on, man. Oh, let me finish. Look at this here, right? You know how I say the disciples forsook him and fled? So we're going to see that in a second. But look at 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and about verse 14. See, this is why Hamashiach can't join with a lot of people for this reason right here. This is why he can't join with a lot of people. He said, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? That's why for Hamashiach to dwell in you, he got to be equally yoked with you. You know what I'm saying? For him to have fellowship, hold this right here and get 1 John chapter 1, verse 7. Because we talked about this a little bit on Shabbat day, right? Where he say, he that have my commandments and keep them, my Father will love him and we'll make our abode with him, right? That's fellowship. Because we are like mind. You know what I'm saying? And when we are like mind, then we can do something together. You can get your, hold on. Let me not go too fast. Because I told myself from something that somebody mentioned to me not to go so fast. Verse 5. 1 John 1 and 5. This then is the message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that Elohim is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, and we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach cleanse us from all sin. So that's what we need to turn around and look at. Did you see how he said we have fellowship one with another? So that means sitting back looking at it, if you are a companion of those who fear Yah, then you would be a companion of a Mashiach. See, hold on. It's too much stuff going to my head. Come over here to Talahim 119. Y'all bear with me. Somehow, some way, we'll get back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and Proverbs chapter 3 and Deuteronomy chapter 4. Y'all just bear with me. Somehow or another, I get it in there. What did I just say? Yeah, 119. And then get you Ecclesiastes 12. He said he'll have fellowship one with another, right? This Psalm 119, let me say this because I know what the verse says, but I got to find the verse. If I don't find the verse, I'm just going to tell you what it says. Because I just said it, but I want you to see it for yourself. There's a reason why I'm taking this direction of what is coming in my head. If I don't find the verse, I just don't find the verse. But you know, I just said it to you. He said, I'm a companion. There it is, verse 63. Psalms 119 and 63. He said, I am a companion of all them that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts. That Aratz, O Yahuwah, is full of thy mercy. Teach me by thy statute. Now he said he is a companion, right? What is a companion? A friend. You know what I'm saying? We talked about a friend not too long ago, right? We also talked about a long time ago that he that have friends must what? Show himself friendly. We talked about not too long ago that you want to be a friend of him who have the gifts. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you're talking about a companion, we know from 1 Corinthians chapter 6, he said, he that is joined to the master is one ruach. So that means you will have fellowship with a companion. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all on the same accord. Y'all got the same mind. Now we'll look at Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 and then get you 1 Corinthians chapter 1. I'm working towards something right here now. Because if you're going to be joined to a Mashiach, then he said he's a companion of them that fear him, or that fear thee. So that means a Mashiach is going to be a companion of those who respect his father's commandment. So he wouldn't be unequally yoked with somebody who didn't believe or dwelt in darkness then. He wouldn't be a companion of them. Why? Because they don't shamar, they don't keep, they don't preserve, they don't abstain, they don't refrain. Because those who fear Yah will refrain. And also this is going to lead into when we actually break down the word wisdom. Because we know the fear of Yah is the beginning of what? Wisdom. We look at Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let's look what he says. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So then we look at fear Elohim and shamar. Abstain from sin, abstain from all evil, refrain yourself, guard, keep, preserve in memory his word. This is what it's telling me. Because you know what ends up happening? Not my will be done. Thy will be done. And that's why, and the only way Hamashiach can come dwell in you is if you are those who fear the man and keep his precepts. That's Shamar's precept. Other than that, he can't be your companion. He can't be in you. Let me finish 2 Corinthians chapter 6 before I get to Hebrews 5. Let me finish this 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Y'all follow what I'm talking about? Does it make any type of sense? Yeah, that was you. Yeah, that was you. I asked for 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Act like we ain't know. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and 10. Now, Ruth Bear got you like that?
Beans,
Beans.
Beans and, how you say quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yeah.
I had quinoa in my sandwich. You know what quinoa leads to? Wait for it. Wait for it. Gains. That's what quinoa leads to. That's a muscle superfood right there. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you. Listen what he said, that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and same judgment. Now we'll get Ezekiel chapter 20 before I finish 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Now he said he wants you to have the same mind. We know Jeremiah told you, he said, I give them one heart and one way that they all might fear me. So that means to respect me. And if you respect me, you reverence me, then guess what that means you'll do? You'll shamar my instruction. You'll preserve them. You'll keep them into memory. Let me get around that. I think it's 20 that I desire. If it ain't 20, it's 19. No, that wasn't 20. It's 11. My apologies. 11 and 19. Ezekiel 11 and 19. My apologies, everybody, for that one. He says, and I will give them one heart. I will put a new ruach within you. I will take the stony heart out of their flesh. I will give them a heart of flesh, that they may walk in my statutes and shamar, or keep my ordinances, and do them. And they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. You see this whole key thing is, when they in there, you're going to keep them into memory. You're going to keep them in. Now we'll finish 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and about verse 14. And then we'll look at Hebrews 5 and 7. And then we'll also look at, it came to my mind, I fell out just up there. It'll come back. Y'all will, it'll come. You know, that's why the book says, for us to be ikar, one body, one ruach, right? Same heart and same mind for you to retain or guard this man's word, to keep it into memory. Oh, thank y'all, it just came back to me. So 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. He said, but be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So knowing that the law just said that he's a companion of all those that fear thee and keep the precept, Hamashiach cannot be yoked with you if you walk in darkness or you walk in unrighteousness. He can't be yoked with you. He can't be your companion. That means he can't go where you go, and you can't go where he go until you drop the excess weight. He says, and what concord have Mashiach with Belial, or what part have he that believed with an infidel? You know what an infidel is, right?
Unbelievable.
That's an unbeliever. You know what I'm saying? Say, what part you got with an infidel? You can't even do nothing with them. See, he can't be a companion of yours then. He said he's a companion of all those who fear you, and shamar, or guard, preserve, remember, protect, and abstain in your instructions. Because his instructions show you what transgression is, so you would step back away from it, not run to it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to keep that in mind. Man. He said, what agreement have the temple of Elohim with idols? For you are the temple of the living Elohim. As Elohim has said, I will dwell in them, and I will walk in them, and I will be their people. I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. The reason why they say he will walk in them. Remember, he say, those that walk in the land, I'll give it to you and your seed. You know what I'm saying? You got to sit back and look at it. He wants to transverse that ground, which is your heart. Because he said, I'll give you a new ruach, meaning he'll put his spirit within you, which will cause you to obey, which will conform you to the image of his son. That way you would have the same thought process of the son. Not my will be done, but thy will be done, because I remember your Torah. I didn't forget it. He say, my son, forget not my Torah. Keep my commandment. So shamar ought to be in your head all the time, to preserve and protect, or to keep into memory. See, keeping the command, it's just not, see, you know the main commandment everybody remember? Don't eat pork and keep the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? You can remember that without thinking. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all look forward to the Shabbat. Why? Because you ain't got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? You got a day you can rest, and this, that, day, and the third, but you got to make sure you keep all the man instructions in your head. That way your faith stays strong. Because why you think Mashiach was able, after doing all that praying, and he look at the disciple, he say, take on your rest. He that cometh to betray me is at hand. You know what I'm saying? Because he remembered. He remembered what the Torah said. Abraham believed in Yahuwah, and he counted to him for righteousness. He remembered that. You know what I'm saying? That's why the man say anything that's not of faith, it is transgression. If you don't even believe, why you sit back and you don't think, you know, we can get that wrong. Look at Romans 14:23. Let's just look at it real fast, and I'll show you the difference. I'll show you right in the law what Paul get different. Oh, y'all just got some gas in your chest, ain't it? You ain't drink no root beer. You drunk straight water.
Raisin, boy. That's the
Raisin? You heard these guys over here, man? He belching off raisins.
That made my stomach upset.
22 though. He said, hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before Elohim. Happy is he that condemned not himself in that thing which he allowed. And he that doubt is damned if he eat. Because he eat not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. Now who was damned because they eat, because they doubted? You know, we just read about that. Who got damned because they ate and it wasn't of faith? Didn't it just say right here, he that doubted is damned if he eat? Where can we read that? Who got an idea? I don't care who answered it. Because ain't that many on y'all on here anyway. Now, it wasn't just eat, because he said don't doubt if you eat. She didn't doubt. She went right on ahead and did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about out the Torah now. Out the Torah. Who doubted and ate and was damned?
With the manna.
Yeah, not just with the manna. Remember, he didn't kill him with the manna. Mm-hmm. He killed him with the quail. He killed him with the quails.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Remember in Numbers 11, we were just looking at it, and they were doubting who going to give us flesh to eat. Who going to give us flesh to eat? And that's what they did. They were doubting, y'all didn't. And he said, I'm going to give you enough flesh where it come out your nostrils. And every one of them that went and ate it, what happened? He killed them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When we look at whatever is not of faith is sin, where do we sit back and see that? Something we just looked at last week too. When he told them to go search the land. They said what? It's giants in there. It's big old buildings. It's all this, that. They was transgressors. They didn't believe that y'all could conquer them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You just sit back and look at, if you know your power, you know your Elohim, you know your God, and you trust in him and your hope is in him, the man is able to do all things. There's absolutely nothing he can't do. He said, I got power to give you wealth. I got power to take down your enemies. He says, is there anything too hard for y'all? That goes back to what we were talking about not tempting him, which means don't quench the man ruach. Don't put no water on the man's spirit, talking about what he can't do. Don't try to put the fire out. Mm-hmm. See, that's what they try to do with the Mashiach. They try to put the fire out. Mm-hmm. Hebrews 5 and 7 though. Ain't that something? I mean, it's right there in the law. Everything right there, right? He said, he that eateth and doubteth is damned. We can read that. We can see whatsoever is not of faith, that's sin. We can read that. Now that go along to what Cora just mentioned with Eve, because she ain't had no faith, because she done had some faith. She said, Elohim said not to do that there. You ain't had no faith, that's why you sin. You didn't believe, that's why you sin. He say, who in the day, Hebrews, I bring 5 and 7. He say, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears, unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. And though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all that obey him. He's a companion of those who fear thee and keep thy precept. If you obey him, you fear him then, right? Then he would be your companion. Therefore, if he was your companion, then his mercy and truth can be showed off in the earth then with him. Like we read in verse 64. Come back and look at verse 64 in Psalm 119 so you can understand what we're talking about. And then we'll look at 1 John 2 and 27. And then y'all knows where we're going to get out that word Shema when we actually look at the characters. You know what I'm saying? When we actually look at the characters. He says, the earth, O Yahuwah, is full of thy mercy. Teach me thy statutes. Now remember we talked about grace and truth, right? You can come to 1 John 2 and 27. Remember we talked about grace and truth, right? Last week. When he say the law came by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach, and we seen the law coming by Moshe, and then we seen grace and truth coming by Yahushua, son of Nun, because he the one brought him in, circumcised him the second time, brought him in the land, gave him the favor for the thing that they didn't even work to get, because what did they get when they came in there? He taught them, you know, Yahushua showed them the law too, but then he also brought them into a place where there was wells where you didn't dig, ruach there, filled with water, which you didn't make, houses which you didn't build. You know what I'm talking about? The temple Elohim, the houses which you ain't built, vineyards which you didn't plant. You know what I'm saying? That's grace and truth right there. Moses got the law, he give you the favor. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. All this stuff is right there. It's plain.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about? So now when we turn around and we look at it, in order to get it, so when you are a companion of him who fears Yah, which would be Yahushua, and you keep his precepts, or you guard his commandments, you guard his instructions, then he say this man mercy will be in all the earth, because all would behold you. Like he said in Matthew. The man say a light, you don't put a bushel over a candlestick. He said it give light to the whole house. So when they see us, they see him, they see the mercy of Yahuwah when we walk in him. When we keep or Shema or guard or remember or store up or treasure. You know, that's the one key thing people don't do. They don't treasure the man's word. It's not a treasure to him, it's a reproach to him. Slide over. I ain't even turned my page yet. 2 and 27. He say, but the anointing which you have received of him abide in you, and you need not that any man teach you. But as the same anointing teach you of all things, and is truth and is no lie, even it hath taught you, you shall abide in him. And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence, and not be ashamed before him at his coming. If you know that he is righteous, you know that everyone with due righteousness is born of it. So what he's talking about here is, if you keep this man's word in your heart, you wouldn't have no need for nobody to tell you, don't do this or don't do that. Just like what you were talking, it'd be an instantaneous decision. It's already there with you. What need would you have somebody to tell you? You know why? Why you think Mashiach kept telling you to watch and pray? And watch. He was telling you to Shema. He was telling you to keep the instructions. What else would he be telling you to watch for? Just so you can be looking? No, he was telling you to watch so you would guard it. That's why he say watch and pray lest you enter into temptation. Because when you guard the instruction, you don't realize when this man was sitting in that garden that he was entering into temptation. His last temptation. I'm exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. But when it came down to it, he said, not my will be done, but thy will be done, because he was... Why you sat back and told him, you can't watch me for 1 hour? You can't guard these instructions with me for 1 hour. You can't guard the word with me for 1 hour. Come over here back to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Why you think he said that anointing you receive, that go back to what the new covenant is? He said, I put the law in your heart and in your inward part. You would Shema it, you would keep it, you would watch it, you would guard it, you would preserve it. It would be forever with you. Like I told you last week, it ain't the first time I told you when I picked this book up and showed it to you. It's got to become, the word got to become one with you. When it becomes one with you, that's what's going to get you up out the grave. Okay, 29 was a little too low. Make it 22 though. Matter of fact, just go on and make it 20. Deuteronomy 4 and 20. Furthermore, Yahuwah was angry with me for your sakes, and swear that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go into that good land which Yahuwah thy Elohim give thee for an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not go over Jordan. But you shall go over, and possess that good land. Take heed. That's another thing. Taking heed is another thing that goes along with the meaning of Shema. It means to keep, to pay heed. He said you need to give the more earnest heed to the things that you have heard, lest they slip. He say, take heed unto yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he have made with you. That's why the things got to become one with you, because if you don't take heed, if you don't shamar and guard and protect and store it up in the memory, you will forget it. You will have a reprobate mind because you will do those things that are not convenient, and then you will be destroyed. And why should you be destroyed? He said, I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth. And then there's no way that he can be a companion with you. You just sit back and look at it on the same token. If Shaul is telling us not to be a companion, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Don't have no fellowship with darkness. Don't have no fellowship with the world. Don't have no fellowship with a sinner. Don't have no fellowship with an unbeliever. How would a Mashiach be able to turn around and have fellowship with you? Because if you're doing that, that means you're cleaving to something unclean. Therefore, he can't cleave to you. And it ain't just got to be a person, because you could be cleaving to yourself and you have those own desires that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because he say he is a companion of all those that fear him. He say he is the author of eternal salvation to all those that obey him. So he wants to be your companion. Will you let him? Oh, he put him down early, huh? See, they'll be back. So you see, you got rid of us now. We coming back. Listen what he say. For Yahuwah thy Elohim is a consuming fire, even a jealous Elohim. You already said he's a consuming fire. You know what the Mashiach said about a fire? He said, I have a baptism to be baptized with. And if the fire is kindled, let's look at it in the 12th chapter of Luke. My apologies. Because remember, he said don't quench. He said many floods can't quench love. You know, love is a burning desire and fire on the inside. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't talking about no fire in your loins. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother type of fire. He ain't talking about no fire in your loins. 12 and 49. He ain't talking about no fire in your loins. You know what I'm saying? When you got a love for somebody, it's a fire that burns within you. Nobody can put that out if you truly, truly love them. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and look at it, there was absolutely nothing that could separate a Mashiach from the love that he had for Yasharal. So he came up with a means that I had to devise a plan to take my wife back because of the fire that I had that burned within me. Because you know, we already know that the verse above that in verse 6 it say, for love is strong as death.
I'll go back in that.
You know what I'm saying? That love he had for us was so strong he was willing to die by it. You know what I'm saying? That's how strong it was. You know what I'm saying? You turn around and look at that. That's the same burning fire. Ain't nobody supposed to be able to quench that love out your heart for a Mashiach. Nobody ain't supposed to be able to do that. Ain't nobody supposed to be able to quench the love you have for your brethren. Ain't nobody supposed to be able to quench the love you have for your sisters. Ain't nobody supposed to be able to quench the love you have for your wife. Ain't nobody supposed to quench the love you have for your husband. Ain't nobody supposed to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's a burning fire like that, that can't never be put out. You know what I'm talking about? I guess that's where your homeboy came up with that song from, huh?
What song?
Boy, they used to play that song. You was a little boy then, probably, because that was what? almost 15 years ago. But boy, I remember that 2001, boy, you couldn't go nowhere without hearing Let It Burn.
Oh.
I'm talking about air, but you know, but he said that. But at the same time, I'm sitting back looking at it like relating it to a Mashiach. He said he would keep that fire burning until that woman came back. Well, you turn around and look at it, you're supposed to keep that fire burning for a Mashiach until he comes back. You know what I'm saying? That thing ain't, that's why he say quench not the Ruach. Because we could turn around, I'm going to show you why he said don't quench not the Ruach. Now, I'm going to show you what he's talking about in a minute. Something came to my head on that too. He said, I'm come to send fire on the rats. And what will I if it be already kindled? But I have a immersion to be immersed with, and how am I straightened until it be accomplished? He say, what good can I do if it's already lit? Mm-hmm. Now we know the law say, he say, you done kindled a fire that will burn for me to the deepest hell. You know what I'm talking about? But then turn around and look at what he say don't quench, because you don't think you can put a fire out with is with water. Let's look at Acts 2 and 1. Well, when he's ready to talk, I think he's really going to let it be known. He's going to voice his displeasure. I can hear him sounding like a grown man. Mother, I don't really like this time that you're taking to do whatever it is that I want you to do. He said, when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came from Shamahim as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all of the house where they were sitting, and it appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. Remember what Amashah said? He said, indeed, John baptized with water, but he said he would baptize with fire and the Ruach. And you know, that furnace of affliction. And you turn around and look at it, he say, your Elohim is a consuming fire. The only way you could put that out, if we look at floods or waters being representative of men, the only way you could quench that Ruach or quench that fire is because you desire the things that be of man and not the things that be of Elohim. That's the only way you're going to be able to quench it. How else you going to put out a consuming fire? That burn a bush, can't nothing stop it. This is a consuming fire, can't nothing stop this fire. It burns continually. You know what I'm talking about? Let's finish 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. You hear him? He is not well pleased. Verse 19. And we'll look at why he say this here in verse 22. He say, despise not prophesying, right? This is what he say, right? We already read 19, why quench not the Ruach. But let's look at Isaiah or Yeshayahu chapter 30 and about verse 4. And why that man say don't despise no prophesying. Even you can look in 2 Chronicles 20 and 20 when they stoned Zechariah. He said, why did you transgress? He said, you will not prosper because you transgress Elohim commandment. They stoned the man. Isaiah 30 and 8. Yeshayahu 30 and 8. They stoned the man. Because he prophesied before them. They despised it. Just like we were reading about that marriage supper. And Matthew 22 and looked in 2 Chronicles 36. They misused his servants. They despised what was going on. Then when we look at despising prophesying, they despised the Mashiach because it was written of him. He said, he that hate me, hate my Father also. They despised the prophesying because the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. You know what I'm talking about? They despised that. Because the whole scripture will prophesying or testifying of this man. And then when you turn around and look at where he's walking in you and you walking in him, and he's a companion of yours because you fear Yah, then guess what people would do? They would despise you because it's prophesied that he would give you a new heart, take out that heart of stone, and give you a heart of flesh. He would put a new Ruach within you, would cause you to keep his statute. So Hamashiach would be in you, and you would be in Hamashiach. He would dwell with you, and therefore they would see the testimony coming to pass. Therefore they would despise it. Because he said he would put the law in your inward part so you could shamar it, so you could keep it, guard it, preserve it, protect it, watch over it. (30 and 8). Yeshayahu. Now go and write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for a time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the Torah of Yahuwah, which say to the seers, see not. And to the prophets, prophecy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophecy deceits. Get ye out of the way and turn aside out of the path and cause the Kadesh one of Yasharal to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Kadesh one of Yasharal, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall whose breaking comes suddenly at an instant. That's why it don't make sense to quench no Ruach dinner. Because they were telling these men to be quiet. Mm-hmm. They were trying to put water on the Ruach. They would despise what they had to say. This is what our people's problem is. We don't really care to hear what the words say. We don't really care to be steered in the direction that y'all want us to go. Because we're not guarding this man's instructions. Come on back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. All this boiling down to is who will you going to do? Who will you going to do? We in verse 21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. There goes Shamar again. Keep that which is good. and abstain from all appearance of evil. You see that goes Shamar again, right? You should abstain. Anything that look at what somebody could say that's evil and y'all be blamed, you would refrain yourself from that if you remember to keep his commandments, right? Mm-hmm. Come on back to Proverbs chapter 3. We finna shut it down in a second. Fit a lot in a little bit of time. Ain't hold nothing else here. I don't believe so. So we in Proverbs 3 and 1 again. He say, my son, forget not my Torah, but let thy heart shamar my instructions. That's what we need to remember is to guard, to keep in the memory what the man say. For length of days and long life and shalom shall they add to thee. So when you actually guard this man, that's why he said, the word, he said, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you keep them in the memory and you guard them and they abide in you and you abide in them, then they're going to give you the eternal life and the peace that you seek. See, we seek peace from the wrong things instead of seeking peace from the Prince of Peace. He said, let not thy mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the tables of thy heart. That's right, my bad. Almost forgot. We got to sit back and look at the disciples being scattered. Almost forgot that one. He says, so shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of Elohim and man. This is why Paul came around in Acts 24 and said, I will have a conscience void of offense towards Elohim and man, because he guarded the man commandments. He didn't let a Mashiach forsake them. He bound this on his neck. He wrote the word on the table of his heart. Paul already told you about this, that he said, you are manifestly the epistle of Mashiach, not written on tables of stone, but fleshly tables of the heart. The same way you already heard Ezekiel, where he said he'll take out that heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. Because you will write these things upon your heart. You'll keep them in Shamar. You'll keep them in memory. When you keep them in memory, then you'll have favor or grace with the Most High and that good understanding, which is that 1 John 2 and 27. You wouldn't have no need for any man to teach you because you would know a Mashiach and a Mashiach would know you. Therefore, he would dwell in you. Nobody would have to tell you what to do. Because you would know what, when he's talking about telling you what to do, mean you would be in situations and you would judge according to the word. Ain't nothing to think about. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing to think about. Well, let me pray about it. Well, let me see how it goes. Ain't no see how it goes. This not of y'all. I'm gone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing to think about. It's automatic. I'm gone. Trust in Yahuwah with all thine heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Now sit back and look at son. Look at John 12 and 44. And then Acts chapter 26, if I'm not mistaken. You heard what he said, to trust him with all your heart. And he said he will direct you where to go. He said, order my steps in your word, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you have to sit back and look at. If you trust in Yah, he going to direct you where you need to go. If you don't trust in Yah, you're going to go where you want to go. Hello? Hello? Shalom, what's going on? So we look at verse 44. Yahushua cried and said, he that believe on me, believe not on me, but on him that sent me. Because if you trusted in Yahuwah, how would that happen, right? Because you wouldn't be leaning. You can say, he said, don't trust in your own heart, lean not to your own understanding. We know the son of Elohim is coming, giving us an understanding. So therefore you would lean on the Mashiach then, wouldn't you? Because that's where understanding derived from. He said he would give you pastors that would feed you with knowledge and understanding. You know what I'm talking about? He that see me, see him that sent me. I come a light unto the world, that whosoever believe on me should not abide in darkness. If any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I come not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that reject me and receive not my words, have one that judge him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment on what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. Now you sit back and see when he say the Father that sent me, who's directing his path then? We know from Luke chapter 2, he said he increased in understanding with the Most High man too, right? When he was sitting in the temple with all that there. But why did that happen? Because like we've been talking about all night, he remembered the man's instructions. Mm-hmm. He wrote them on the tables of his heart. Right? Then he turned around and sat back and said, you know what? I'm not going to lean on my own understanding. I'm not going to trust in myself. I'm going to trust in Yah. He going to show me where to go. Look at Acts chapter 26. That's the pattern you sit back and look at. If you are this man, not my will be done, but thy will be done. You're going to guard it. How else could a Mashiach be able to open his mouth and say, not my will be done, but thy will be done, unless he retained the man's word in his heart? Unless he leaned on his father and not on himself. Unless he leaned. You got to remember, right? Hamashiach already had an understanding of the scriptures before he died, right? Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't y'all say he already had an understanding of the scriptures before he died?
Yes, sir.
So if he had already had an understanding of the scripture before he died, he was leaning on that. Because he could have easily leaned on, man, I ain't dying, I'm gone. But he didn't lean on that. He leaned on the understanding that comes from Yah and Yah alone. This is what slows us up. This is what messes us up. This is why growth and maturation don't come to pass, because we lean on what's understanding to us, what's seen right to us. And we want to direct our own paths versus letting Yah direct it. You know what I'm saying? Because the way you want to go and the way Yah wants you to go is two different things. And I'm going to sit back and tell you, with 100% accuracy, the way that you want to go is going to lead to death. Because there are a way that seems right unto a man, and the end thereof are the ways of death. You know what I'm talking about? Every last one of us know this. He said the wages of sin is death, but the gift of life is eternal, which gift we get from Yahushua HaMashiach. All of us know in our entire life, everything that we sought to do on our own way, our own will, it didn't lead to nothing but death. Because it had us mired in transgression. Every time we sought our own will, it had you mired in transgression. Every last one of us, ain't none of us exempt from that. Then you don't realize when you submit yourself to Yah's will and do his will and go his way, that leads you to eternal life. So you know what that would have a reasonable person be able to determine? Let me stop doing my own thing then. My own thing is going to kill me. Yah's way is going to save me. But you know what people's problem is? We still try to go our way and try to claim that we mixing it with his way. But he say light and darkness don't have no communion with one another. So therefore he can't be your companion, because he's not going to meet in agreement with that, because you're not of the same mind, you don't have the same heart, nor do you have the same judgment. Because there's nowhere in the world that Yah is going to judge. If he said we have declared that Elohim is light and no part darkness, that means Yah has thus judged. I can't combine with darkness. But you trying to judge it and say you can. That ain't good. Verse 7 of verse 5 of Acts 26. Trying to make you miss summer, man. That ain't cool. He said, which knew me from the beginning, if they would testify that after the most straightest sect of our religion I lived a Pharisee. And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of Elohim unto our fathers. Unto which promise our 12 tribes instantly serve Elohim day and night. Hope to come, for which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Yahudim. Why should it be thought a incredible thing incredible with you, that Elohim should raise the dead? That wasn't even what I wanted. Hello? And hello. What I was thinking about was, he said, the verse where he say for the hope of this bond, you know what I'm saying? For the hope of my people, I'm trapped in these bonds, is what I had. It came to my head. But nevertheless, that'll work too. But you heard how he say he instantly served Elohim day and night. That means these people fear this man day and night. This way, this man able to be a companion of those who fear him, because they keep his instructions, they guard him, they watch him. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people don't be watching. A lot of people ain't seeking Yah neither. You know what I'm saying? Because you seek after Yah, that man said to seek after him diligently. I asked for Matthew chapter 6. Let's get it now. And then we're working out about that thing we were talking about. Get you 1 Kings chapter 18 and Judges chapter 19. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth where moth and rust doth corrupt and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in Shamahim where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Didn't they say that Shamar, one of the things it means is the treasure? Mm-hmm. Now you turn around and get you Matthew chapter 13 since I said something about treasure. Matthew 13 and 44. Matthew 13 and 44. Matthew 13 and 44. You know, if the word is a treasure to you, you would heap it up in your memory because that would be the most important thing to you because you know that the words that come in this word come from on high. They come from Shamahim. It would be of great price to you. That's why they say buy the truth and sell it not. It would be of great price to you. You know, I had something else in my head I was going to talk about and it ain't even crossed my mind until just now. Save it for another day. He said, again, the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a treasure hid in a field, the which when a man have found, he hide, and for joy therefore go and sell all that he have and buy that field. Now what you think that could mean by selling everything that you got? He said that the kingdom of Shamahim is like a treasure hid in the field. So that means the word, you've been seeking this word in this world the whole time. Go ahead. Oh boy. Okay, little mama. What y'all think that could mean? He said, go ahead. Go ahead, Troy. Absolutely. You giving away everything that you had. You forsake. Get you Luke 14 and 26 and then Philippians 3 and 8. You giving up everything you had because you find that to be more valuable. It's more valuable to you. It's more important to you. You count the cost when you found this treasure and you bought this field and you buried it there. Verse 26 of Luke chapter 14. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters and yea, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Whosoever doth not bear his stake and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you intending to build a tower, sit not down first and count the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it. Lest happily after he laid the foundation is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. You know what I'm saying? You know where that come in at? Just like Will referenced it in his the song that he just put on SoundCloud, but all he was just telling you what the word said. Many people will seek the kingdom of Shamahim and will not find it. And they won't find it because it was joy. They received the word, but when persecution, tribulation, and affliction come back because of it, they will be offended because they didn't sit down and count the cost that this is what they really wanted to go do. See, when you turn around and you look at your ancestors coming out of Mizraim, there wasn't no cost for them to count because they hadn't been through anything yet. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't seen nothing yet. So it wasn't nothing for them to count. He told them to remember this and teach that to their children so they would know to count the cost, right? Now you sitting back asking yourself, you know, I've been talking out there. A lot of people don't count the cost. Man, this ain't what it do for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. It takes something like this here, right? We were talking about this here, like I told you, the dude was telling us about, man. Me and Glover were talking to the dude. And he was like, yeah, man, you got some people that they want the ball down by 2 seconds left. They want to take that jump shot, that three-pointer to win the game. You know what I'm saying? You got people, they got the mind like Kobe got. He's an assassin. I'll take that shot. I want that shot. 100 times out of 100 times, I'm going to take that shot. And I feel like that I'm going to make it every time. And even if I miss it, I'm willing to deal with the fact that I missed that. And I still will be willing to take it again the next game. No hesitation. You know what I'm saying? Then he was like, you got some people want the ball, one time out, 46 seconds left in the 2-minute drill, down by, I'm going to say 4, because screw a field goal. Who wants to go to overtime? You want to go to overtime? I don't want to go. I want to go for the win. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can tell you, man, I played Madden for years, and you know what I'm saying? It was games where nigga one-handed it. It's games nigga lost. But, boy, you talking about that last drive, and you got a chance to go down the field or win the game, tie the game, You want that. You know what I'm saying? You like that there because that's that pressure situation. It's like that, and that's especially when you're playing for money. It's like your focus get even more locked in. Because there's nothing worse than a nigga thinking he got victory and you snatch it from him in a 2-minute drill. You know what I'm talking about? That's what. But when you look in real life though, Tom Brady love that situation. He don't shy away from it. You know what I'm saying? When Joe Montana was playing, he was known for it. You know, great players and champions don't shy away from pressure situations. They want to be in them. You know what I'm saying? Because usually that's when you're going to separate a champion from a loser. You got you done seen some quarterbacks, you put them in that 2-minute drill, boy, they fold, boy. You can sit back and see them, they like a deer in the headlight, they terrified, like they like to say, the stage is too big for them. You know what I'm saying? Some people, when the lights are brightest, they at their best. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when the pressure on and people watching. So when you turn around and you look at it on this here, they willing to sit back and count the cost that I'm willing to put myself in this position to take the praise if we win and the ridicule if we lose. You know what I'm talking about? You turn around on my shot telling you, did you really sit down and count this what you really want to do? Is you willing to take everything that come along with it? Because everybody want to be the hero, but don't nobody want to be like, but nigga, you missed the game winning shot though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a lot of niggas want to take that shot, man. You go in the NBA right now, you can be like all them professional players and they get paid a lot of money. But boy, you talking about take that shot? Well, a lot of niggas don't want to take that shot. You know what I'm talking about, because you done seen, you can sit back and tell, boy, there was a long time, I was telling both of y'all this here, like, they used to get on LeBron all the time, didn't they? Because he wouldn't take that shot. But also, he's a basketball player. He going to want to make the right play. Because I remember one year, this was a long time ago, this was the first time he was in Cleveland. I forgot who they were playing in the playoff game. But he drove to the lane, and they collapsed on him, and Donyell Marshall was open in the corner. The right basketball play say, trust your teammate and pass him the ball. And that's what he did, and the nigga missed. You know what I'm talking about? But when you LeBron James, ain't no passing the ball. Because you supposed to take that shot. Because they ain't dissing him, though. I mean, because he's a different type of player. Like, Michael Jordan's not passing that ball. You know what I'm saying? He only did it one time. Well, actually, my bad, he did it twice. Because he told John Paxson, you be ready. And he hit that to knock down the Suns. And he told Steve Kerr, you be ready. And they did that to knock down the Jazz. But you know, boy, when it came down to it, Phil Jackson said they had one play late in the fourth quarter. You know what it was? Y'all, you know what it was?
Yeah, give the ball a move.
He said, give back the ball and get the blank out the way. You know what I'm talking about? You can sit back and look at it. You know, Kobe old and he ain't good. It's like his whole shooting touchdown went away. That nigga shooting bricks everywhere. I'm talking about he might have built about 7 houses on around the corner. You know what I'm talking about? How Kobe shooting 34%. I ain't never seen Kobe shoot like that. You know what I'm talking about? But boy, they don't call. Well, he gave himself that nickname, Black Mamba. But that nigga gonna shoot that ball. Boy, that nigga gonna snatch a whole. That nigga literally. Kobe Bryant wants to take his good hand and stick it all the way in your chest and pull your heart out, lick the blood off of it, and put it in your hand. Boy, ain't nothing like hitting the sea. It's different when you playing, pickup game, game 15. Because you already know, because everybody be trying to drain the last shot and get it over with. But it's different when you on the clock, though. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, everybody don't want that pressure, man. Let it be a championship game and you missed the shot. Let it be game 7. Everything on the line. And you missed that. Boy, you got to live with that for life. Boy, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll got to live for life. He threw that interception at the goal line in the Super Bowl. He can never live that down. That goes down in infamy. You know what I'm saying? It do though, in my life. But at the same time though, Russell Wilson wasn't scared to make that throw, but he got to live with it though. Because he could have came at the line and say, man, I'm autoing and calling a run play. Quarterbacks do it all the time. I done seen quarterbacks come up out of run plays and call pass plays. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But what I'm talking about is counting the cost of the pressure. Now, it's not pressure to serve y'all, but you got to be asking yourself, are you willing to do what's necessary? Because everybody's not. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said if you're not willing to forsake all that you have, you can't be as talented. You can't be a disciple. Yeah, he's on the move. He's on the move. Philippians 3:8 though. That's all you got to sit back and look at. You know, they say, y'all know the old saying, pressure bust pipes. Y'all, if you watch First 48, you see him get bust all the time. The boy get in that situation, they like this here, man, that what Kimbo and Johnny did that. He said, yea, doubtless I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Mashiach Yahushua, my master, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things and do count them but dung, that I may win Mashiach and be found in him, not having my own righteousness, not leaning to my own understanding, not going after my own ways, not trusting in my own heart, which is of the Torah, but that which is through faith of Mashiach, the righteousness which is of Elohim by faith, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death. And how was he able to be made conformable unto his death? Because he feared. You know what I'm saying? He learned obedience from the things that he suffered. And he endured them to be able to be the captain of your salvation. That if you endure those afflictions and you obey him, that you could achieve the same level of success. Why? Because you found the word, you treasured it, you opened up a hole, you bought you a field, you sold everything that you had. You got rid of everything that you had because this was more valuable. That's not the mind that people got. 1 Kings 18, we'll come back and look at this more in depth, y'all will, on another day. Because I hadn't started it and mentioned it, so now we got to touch on it. Verse 32. He says, with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahuwah. And he made a trench about the altar, as great as wood, contained 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock into pieces, and laid him on the wood, and fill 4 barrels with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. See, even this here is talking about not quenching the ruach, right? Because he put water on the sacrifice, did it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then he asked for fire to come down from Shamahim and then quench that ruach.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Look at Judges 19. Now, what we're looking at is he said he cut the bullock into pieces and put it upon the stake. Put it on the wood. Is she even in it?
Oops.
Yeah, I don't think she's in it.
Yeah.
I think she went to the back. So. Judges 19, what's the verse? We're at 19 and about 24. Actually 29. We got time to read all that. Now you know this is the man from Bethlehem, Judea, Yehuda, who concubine left him, and the dude came in there and wanted to get freaky with him. Well, freaky with him, I should say. He says, and when he came into his house, he took a knife. He took a knife and laid hold on this concubine and divided her together with her bones, into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coast of Yasharal. And it was so that all that saw it said, there was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Yasharal came up out of the land of Mizraim unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds. Now you know, remember, she fell to that doorpost and her hands were spread, covered in blood. But then he said he took her and he cut her with the bones. What does the Torah say about a Passover lamb? What you supposed to do with the bones? You ain't supposed to break them. You know what I'm saying? So that means that he was cut into 12 pieces and he kept the bones. You know what I'm saying? Look at Romans chapter 11. Also, what we're looking at is he said take each piece and he spread it in all the coast of Yasharal to each tribe. And you turn around and look at it, the apostles were spread out. 12 of them, right? All throughout. Because remember, he said, take heed, take advice, speak your mind. These men went out to go do this. They were evidence of it. Why do you think the man, all you got to do is sit back and look at it? I'm going to show you in a second. Thank you. I'm going to just show you this. What I just asked for. Dang, I just forgot what I was going to. What I just asked for. Pell, what I just asked for. Romans 11 and 26. Romans 11 and 26. He's saying, so all Yasharal shall be saved, that it is written. There shall come out of Zion a deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me read that last verse again, what he said. Let me read that last verse in Judges 19 before we get out of here. What he said. Y'all we'll come into this a little bit more directly, but my time is up. This man says, consider it, take advice, and speak your minds, right? Say to spread out the 12 pieces of his wife throughout the coast of all Yasharal. He say, consider it, which means think about it. Take advice, which means to take counsel, and then speak your mind on what you think about it, right? So let's look at Matthew 26 real fast. How many apostles were sitting down eating with a Mashiach? Let's look at verse 26. And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. Did he not sit back and do that? Passover lamb got to get it with the bones and all. Can't break a bone in it.
Mm-hmm.
You just turn around and see them do the same thing. Because you talking about you sitting back looking at a knife. He talking about he broke his body up. You know what I'm saying? They broke him up. They ain't cut him into pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But they broke him up. He was marred more than any other man.
Mm-hmm.
How did they take a knife to cut him into pieces? They impaled him.
Yes, sir.
But then he turned around and he said, here, take these 12, send them out. Now let's look at Acts chapter 1 and let's see what he told them they would do. Because after he sent these 12 pieces out and all the coast of Yasharal, he said, consider it, take advice, speak your minds. After that, Acts chapter 28, we'll stop right there. Because it is presently 8:45. So let's look at Acts chapter 1. And let's look at verse 7. He said, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. But you shall receive power after the Ruach HaKodesh is come upon you, and you shall be witnesses unto me in Jerusalem, and in all Yehuda, and in Samaria, unto the uttermost parts of the earth. Send them out unto all the 12 coasts of Yasharal, and let the people consider. Let them take counsel. What did Peter say? He exhorted the people. And he say, and let them speak their minds. So when we look at Acts 28, let's see if they spoke their minds. Now, of course, this is not one of the 12 that he broke the bread with, but it's all the same. Acts 28 and 22. Oh, there it is, 20 and 20. That was which is the verse I was talking about with the hope of this change, what I had in my mind earlier. He say, for this cause, therefore, have I called for you to see you, to speak with you, because that for the hope of Yasharal I am bound with this chain. And they said unto him, we have neither received letters out of Yehuda concerning thee, neither any of the brethren that came showed or spake any harm of thee. But we desire to hear of thee what thou think. For as concerning this sect, for we know everywhere it is spoken against. Why? Because it had been spread through the coast of Yasharal. He say, consider it, take advice, and speak your minds. He said, when they had appointed him a day, there came to him into his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of Elohim, persuading them concerning Yahushua, both out of the law of Moshe and out of the prophets, from morning till evening. And some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. Praise ye Yah for Yahushua HaMashiach in the word. They'll close that little thing. Okay. Y'all understood all this stuff this evening? All you have to do is get up and just close that little thing to the side. Most High will and will touch on that a little bit more.